What's up, everybody? We got a special interview today. Let's go. And we're live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Purple Pod. We got just an interview going on today. Number one show in the world for dating, though. Please make sure to like the video on your way in. Subscribe and go follow our Clips channel, Purple Pod Clips. Follow us on our podcast Instagram. And we are now live to Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Rumble, and YouTube. Or Rumble might be messed up right now. But please go sign up for my new coaching program linked below if you want my personal help with dating men. Our new Patreon is also up if you want to go and see some girls get kicked out. It's pretty funny. You can show some support there, or you can hit the join button right now in YouTube, and you'll get some really cool emojis for the live chat. Also, new shirts out, so check them out on the merch store. And we're now streaming on all the audio platforms, guys. Make sure to add the Instagram right now so you can add these pretty, or no, I don't have any. I got one pretty lady here, but but yeah. And then if you're a single lady that wants to come on the show, just DM me on there, and you're more welcome to always come on. Shout out to my producer tonight. We just got Donnie. Thank you, bro. And yeah, tonight we're gonna do something a little bit different, guys. We're just kind of having a little bit of discussion. If anybody wants to call in and y'all want to talk to her, you're more than welcome to. But if you want to debate me, you want to talk to me about anything, you're more welcome to call in and talk to me about anything if you need dating advice or anything like that. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of have a discussion with her and talk about some things. There's a lot of stuff in the news right now, so we're going to kind of play back into that and just learn more about her. But to start, why don't you introduce yourself so everybody knows you? Why don't you say your name, your age, your education level, what you do for work, so everybody can remember you again. And she's coming back, guys. She was here not that long ago.
So my name is Michelle. I am 26. I'm a sales executive for AT&T. I'm originally from Arkansas, so I just moved here about 2 years ago. So yeah.
Well, then I want to start right there, honestly. With Arkansas, you were born and raised in Arkansas?
No, I was born in Guatemala.
Born in Guatemala.
Born in
Okay.
Guatemala.
And then how old were you when y'all moved to Arkansas?
So I was adopted. So I came over to the U.S. when I was about 2.
That's awesome, though. That's like a really good thing if you're going to get adopted. I feel like to go to America. How did that end up working out?
Whew, it's a long, complicated story. It's very complicated. So it was okay. I mean,
was it a family? Like, did some family here have to help you out, or was it like something where Guatemala was trying to like help kids get adopted in America, and you were kind of part of that? Like, how did it all work out in that way? I guess.
I was a part of what's called a Holt International. So it's just adoption, like a agency, I guess.
But it's international adoption agency.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, that's kind of how it worked out.
Kind of like what Brad and Angelina did, or something, possibly. You know, exactly. I'm sure they did something like that whenever they did that. So no, that's really interesting. So you came over here when you were 2, and then your adopted family. What are they like? Are they? I mean, when I think of Arkansas, I just think of like rural white country people. Like, what's it really like, though? I really don't know.
So yeah, I was adopted by Caucasian people, by white people. It was a very different environment. Something I really had to adapt to and get used to. But I mean, I grew up. My dad was in law enforcement. He was a FBI agent. My mom didn't have to work.
That's dope, though.
Yeah, my dad, he took care of us. He was, a great provider, and so I always grew up like in a successful home. I never had to go through struggle, not have to worry about lights or food, anything like that.
Did they have other kids?
Yeah. So I have an older brother. He is 38, I believe.
38?
Yeah. So we were not close in age. So we did not grow up with each other.
And then any others? Just him?
No,
it's just him.
Yep.
And then so for you, your parents, like, would you call them like your adopted parents, like your real parents now? Like, do you see them as just as much as like your real parents are, kind of, to you?
I would say so. Yeah.
Have you met your parents from Guatemala?
I haven't.
No. Is it a want at all?
It used to be. So I used to want it so bad. But now it's just, I'm getting older. It is what it is type situation.
Is it more like you can't do it and that's why you gave up? Like, it's too hard to like find them? Or is it possible if you really wanted to, you could figure it out?
It's a lot of money into it. So
if you put a lot of money into it?
If I put in my money and time and energy, yeah, I'm pretty sure I could. It's just right now, I already have so much going on in my life. I think I would need to be emotionally stable, I feel like, for that too.
to
to
want to do
have.
something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, for
Yeah, that
sure.
might come later on in the future.
Yeah.
So your parents or your adopted parents are they're still in Arkansas, I'm guessing, or are they here?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yep.
And then so why did you move to Texas? Like, what brought you here?
So my aunt lives here in Texas, in Louisville, and I would come visit her. And I had an ex girlfriend who also was from Texas, and we would go visit her family, and I just loved it. It was like 4 hours away from Arkansas.
Hmm.
It's close, and I just kind of fell in love with the city.
Yeah, I mean
Hmm.
Dallas is dope.
It's
Like,
awesome. It's
yeah,
huge, but
especially if you're coming from Arkansas. I don't think anybody would want to leave Dallas after if you're
oh
coming from a small
yeah,
place like Arkansas. Yeah,
no,
that shit's nothing. And honestly, like our like the scene here for LGBT
hmm,
is like really popular, or it's like really big. Like
yeah,
if I was, I don't know, if I was, if I was gay or if I
right.
was lesbian, I would
Nigga,
probably
you
want to
gay.
shut up. I would probably want to be somewhere where like I would have more of my people there.
Yeah,
Because I get the feeling there's just not there's not a lot of people in Arkansas maybe that would like be very supportive. I don't know. Maybe I don't know
you'd be
Arkansas at all.
surprised.
Yeah, maybe I don't know
You'd be
Arkansas at all.
surprised.
For
Yeah.
some reason, I think of it like as this super like hick state, but maybe it's not. I
In
really
some
don't know.
places, yeah. Some places for sure.
It just depends which area
Yeah.
you're in. Like
Yeah.
anything else, like it's same with Texas. There's some really rural hick areas, but then you get into the inner city and it's fucking the opposite. Like
Yeah.
literally straight opposite.
Hmm.
Um, just to kind of peel layers back, I want to know like what made you kind of choose like the lesbian route? Do you think was there something that specifically happened? Like, was there a girl that you had a crush on, like when you were in junior high, or like when was like your first time where you're like, women, this is it, this is what I like,
I was very young. I was like five,
You were
6.
5.
I was young. Yeah. I remember I had this white girl. She was like my best friend, like a neighbor. She would always come over, and we would just, you know,
Yeah,
start there. And
yeah,
so
like shit happens when you're really young sometimes.
yeah, and that's where it all started. I started very young, and my parents are very conservative and religious, and that is definitely just a big no-no. So
Were they like very did they push hard against it? Like, did they really, really try to like stop it in any way or anything? Or were they at some point did they kind of were like, you know what, this is just you, and they just accepted it?
they don't know anything about my personal life right now, so
They
they don't
don't.
even
You're
know I'm.
26 too. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I told you my family situation is a very complicated situation. I don't really talk to my family, but um, they did like they did walk in once,
Yeah.
so
So they
they
kind of
were
got an idea,
mad. Yeah,
and they were mad. But
yeah.
how old were you though?
I think I was probably around like 10 or 11.
Yeah. Then that's why they were mad because they were
Damn.
like,
Yeah.
you're way too young to be doing this. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that I definitely think that that's like something that is normal. Like, so I went to therapy like last year. I went for like a good year or so,
Mhm.
and child on child SA is something that I actually talked a lot about with my therapist because I've even experienced it, and
Mhm.
then that's what they call it. Like in a clinical setting, that's what's called is child on child SA,
Yeah.
and like but like those type of things, it's crazy how much stuff that happens to you when in your past, how much it'll affect like your future, and it really defines
Mhm.
sometimes who you are. A perfect example is like one of the kids from like whenever I was a kid. He's a huge influencer now, like on TikTok and stuff like that. But he went fully into it. Like he's
Yeah.
fully gay now, and like he's that's his entire life.
Mhm.
But for me, it was like a weird freak thing, and we were only 4 or 5 years old. Like I think we
Yeah.
were actually like 3 or 4 or 5 or something like that, and,
Yeah.
and like it was very traumatizing for me because his mom fucking spanked us, and like it was a very traumatic experience for me.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's crazy to think about how it happens so early, but nobody talks about it unless it's in a clinical setting, like a therapist office or something like that.
Yeah.
People don't talk about how early these things start.
Mhm.
And but I think that that's where it all comes from is everybody's just starting very, very early. And
Mhm.
then once you get into a habit, it's like anything in the world. You
Yeah.
start doing something early enough, or you start doing it over and over again, you start thinking it all the time, then that's what you're gonna want. Your environment's your destiny.
Yeah.
So like I never think people, like people aren't who they really are. You're only what your environment made you into be. Like if you were born in India, you would have been a Hindu. It's not
Yeah.
because you want it, like it's not because you don't like Christianity or anything. It's because
Mhm.
you were born in India and everybody else is a Hindu around me, so I'm gonna be a Hindu too.
Right.
But it's just I'm really interested though that it started so early for you. Do you ever think at a certain point you wanted to like switch though, like at 13, 14, 15, around puberty or around like 18, 19, like after high school? Like, did you ever have that like let me talk to guy or see?
Yeah, of course. Like I said, my parents were very conservative, so I definitely had to hide those emotions and
If
feelings with
anything, try to
women.
cover it up
Yeah.
with guy dates and
Oh,
stuff.
trust me, I covered it up. When I was 16 years old, I went to, so I've always gone to private Christian school, like the best Christian private schools, collegiate schools. I,
That just makes it even worse. Like
yeah,
it just makes you rebel even harder, huh?
trust me, yeah, definitely. But I finally my parents finally let me go to a public school. It's called Bryant High School in Arkansas. Um, that I was very sheltered as well as a kid. So when I went there, I started getting a lot of attention, male attention. So I was like, oh, okay, this is new, this is different. So started partying, started drinking, and yeah, men were definitely a big part of my life around 16 and into college.
So like you have experienced men sexually just like how you've
Yes,
experienced women,
yes, yeah,
and you but you're still very dead set on like I don't get this same vibe from men like I get from women, kind of.
yeah. I've had a lot of bad experiences with men, honestly.
Yeah, that's not gonna
Like
help at all.
a lot,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
not gonna help.
So it's just, yeah, no, definitely.
So like those bad experiences though, do you really think that that's like if you would have had a good experience, like say just a couple really good guys in a row or just one really good guy, do you think that that could have like changed it all? Like do you think like back then, especially when you were kind of more um what's the word? You were curious more, I guess, like because you were more lesbian before, but then you wanted to try it out.
Mhm.
Do you think that right when you were trying it out, if those guys would have been really good guys, or if something would have been really good, like could you have maybe stayed on the path of men, possibly,
Possibly, yeah,
possibly
possibly. I was engaged.
in a different
All
world?
right.
Yeah, yeah.
But how old were you when you were
I
engaged?
was eight. No, I met this man when I was 18. So we were together for 4 years. So around like 20 or something, I was engaged to him.
And then so how'd you meet him? Like where was he way older than you, or was he?
I think he was 3 years older. We were in the military. I met him in the military.
Oh, so you went to the military after you got out of high school?
Yes. Yeah, I did some college and then I joined the military to finish paying for my college because I really wanted a degree.
That's smart.
Um, but I did not go back. So
Yeah, everybody gets married in the military.
they do.
Well, it's because nobody wants to stay in the barracks, right? Isn't that how it works? Like if you get married, then you get to move outside the
Um,
barracks.
yeah, really, it's people do it for money.
Yeah,
Money
yeah, and you get
moves.
more money too. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
There's a lot of incentives for it. It's so stupid. It
it
happens
is.
all the time too. Like I think every person I know that's been in like the armed forces has done it. Like it's very rare if you know
Yeah,
somebody who went through the armed forces and didn't get married to somebody while they were doing it.
yeah, that's true.
I really think it's the barracks too. Nobody wants to sit there and live in a room with a bunch of other people whenever you can
Mm,
move out just by like telling this person that like, hey, we're married now.
yeah.
Uh, let me do that $1 super chat really quick. Oh, Michael Beatroke, thank you, bro, making a hell of them pennies on us, man. I appreciate you, man. If anybody wants to call it and talk to me, have a discussion or anything, or have a discussion with her, please just let us know. You can call in. Let me think. What else was I? So when it comes to like the army or what branch were you in?
I was in the army.
You were in the
Yeah,
army. Did you do a full service like you said the whole time?
yeah. I was. I did 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
6 year contract.
Would like so what do you think right now about like since you were in the army, like what do you think about what's going on right now with like the wars and everything? Like do you think that we should be in Ukraine? Do you think that, like do you like Biden? Do you like our policy when it comes to the military right now and what we're doing?
I've been out for about 3 years. I really, when I left, I really didn't keep up with any
You're
of
like,
that
I'm done with
stuff.
this shit. I did this for a
There
job.
was, yeah, there was just a lot of things I saw in the military that I didn't agree with. Um, and so yeah, I really don't
What do you think
care.
about America being kind of like the policeman of the world? Like that's what everybody calls us, like the policeman of the world. Do you think that's like a good thing or bad? As somebody that was in the armed forces, do you think
Mm,
that's something that's like bad or good?
I feel like I have mixed emotions with it. I don't know. I have different feelings. Sometimes I feel like it can be, good, but then other times it's just,
Sometimes you
I
see
don't
us do
know.
something bad, and you're like, okay, maybe it's bad.
Yeah.
The way I see it is like this is the way the world's going to be ran because it's a globalized world and like it's where it's either like one person's going to be in most of the power, and like it's
Yeah.
either us or it's going to be China and Russia. Like who do
Yeah.
we want to have more of the power? We want us to have more of the power because I don't want to be ruled by Putin or I don't want to be ruled by Z.
Hmm.
So it's just like. It's really, I think that's what it really comes down. And this is what bothers me a lot today is people don't understand global politics, and they don't understand that the reason why we do what we do, the reason why we have, I think it's 744 bases or 734 bases across the world or something like that. And it's because like we have to keep everybody else in check, and we have to be the big superpower. Like what's happening right now is with BRICS, with the dollar, they're going to swap from the dollar. China and Russia and Iran and everybody else that's part of BRICS, South Africa. When they do that, and then all that money starts going to them. A lot of people are freaking out about it. I'm not, because what did we do for the last 100 years as America? We fucking ran up the dollar. We made as much money as we could, and then we also got as many guns as we could. We got more planes than everybody else. We got all the best navy. We did everything to get everything, all the nukes. Like we got to the point where now we can destroy anybody if they feel like doing anything to us. Okay, y'all can go and try to win like the dollar war now. I don't care. Like y'all can go do that. What's really gonna end up happening is we're going to end up manufacturing more from home. We're going to make robots to do all the work here instead of Chinese slave laborers. We're not going to get all of our minerals from Africa because China owns Africa. We're going to end up fighting for South America. We're going to end up winning in the end anyways. Like, I'm not scared at all. Everybody is like, I really believe in America a lot, and it really bothers me when people like side with Putin or side with, like, if you get on TikTok right now, there's so much propaganda that is like pushing on Americans, telling us that America's bad and this is the truth about everything. And yeah, don't get me wrong, we've done some fucked up shit. Like after the Berlin Wall went down and stuff, we signed papers saying that we weren't going to go any further, towards Russia, and we did. We started encroaching into other countries, but I know why we did it. I know why we did it, because we needed to fucking be the bosses of the world, and I agree with that. And like it all goes back to like the gun debate, honestly, because if we're the policemen of the world and we all have guns here still, then everybody in the world is safe. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
Like because if they take away our guns and we have nothing to protect us, then if Xi and Putin get enough money or they get enough power and they sway the governments or they sway us with TikTok or whatever it is, then next thing you know, we're under their control because we can't fight against them. But if we don't have any guns here, the only thing is it's up to our military to win. If our military loses, we're all done. But nobody will raid our country, guys, and it's because of how many weapons are in the country. It's not, y'all got to understand that the reason why we fight for our gun rights, it's not because we're trying to fight the U.S. if the U.S. was ever tyrannical or anything. Now, don't be wrong, it is for that too, but it's mostly so nobody will ever fucking come into our country. It deters any other country from ever thinking about landing on our ground. They would never. And like, but to kind of go into like that gun debate, I'm sure you saw in Nashville there was that horrible shooting that just happened. At the elementary school, actually at a Christian elementary school. Uh, like, I just kind of want. Do you have anything against like what you learned in your Christian school, like? Because the person was like a transition. It was a male to a female. A transition. Somebody that was transitioning. As somebody that's also part of like the same community, do you have any like angst against like Christian schools or anything that you went to in your past? Like, did they ever make you so mad because of what you experienced there or anything that it's just like you hate Christianity or like you hate those type of people like Christians or anything like that? It's
No.
never made you feel that way?
No, I've never had really. I mean, I've had some experiences, but I feel like in my Christian school, it was more on race.
Yeah. It was racial issues.
Yeah, racial issues.
Was it mostly like all white people there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't, like, I went to a private school, a Catholic private school when I was really young, but it was the opposite. It was like all Mexicans there, and because they were teaching Spanish, like I would have learned Spanish if I would have stayed there, but I got pulled out in second grade. Like, sucks ass.
Dang.
I know, right? I could have made so much money in my future if I would have learned
Right,
Spanish.
me too.
That's the thing that bothers me the most about not knowing Spanish is the money that comes with it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, back to the gun thing. Like, I really don't think that. Like, there's only been 4 school shooters that were women, and I really just don't think it's possible. Like, no, it's possible. Don't get me wrong, it's possible, but it's really hard for a woman to do something like as crazy as shooting children or something. Like, that is like, I think it's extremely hard. But a crazy man that's crazy emotional, like we look at that person who was transitioned, but still mostly had the genetics of a man and like probably like the hormones and stuff mostly of a man. So they were kind of confused, and that in the Uvalde shooter, that guy, like, there was multiple times where he would post and talked about, thinking he was gay or bi, and like he was a very confused person. And it just goes to show, man, that like we're confusing these guys really bad right now. Like some guys are getting really confused, and then they go and do some really crazy shit, and it's out of confusion. It's not because like, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're hurting because people aren't understanding them, but it's a lot of confusion on top of the understanding too. What do you think about like people who are transitioning at really young ages? Like, what do you think is like the right age for somebody to like be mentally clear enough to transition? You think, or like at least start the hormones? Like when do you think that that's the age where they should start doing the hormones?
I would say high school.
High school, like,
Yeah,
so that's like
I would say
14,
like
15, like
six.
13, 14,
Yeah,
or 16.
I would say 16.
Like when you can drive. Well, I guess that's not the driving age anymore, but it used to be when I was in. But yeah,
Yeah,
16. And then what
16.
about when do you think they should be able to do the surgery?
Oof, that's a tough one for me because I don't know. I'm not a parent, but if I was, I don't think I would allow my kid to go through that because at that age they're just not mentally
Well, I think 18 is
mature.
fine because they're
Wait,
adult. You can do
yeah,
whatever the hell you want when you're an adult.
yeah,
But yeah, I just think puberty after puberty, because what's scary is like they're convincing them to do it before puberty because it makes the bottom surgeries and stuff easier.
hmm,
And that's what's dangerous to me, is because like if you get the surgery before puberty, it's really hard to change your mind later on.
yeah,
And that's what's scary about it. And I mean, I think it's hard regardless for them to ever change their mind, but I think it's even harder if you do it pre-puberty.
hmm,
And like, yeah, that shit's really scary. And like, I love people like you, honestly, who are you're part of the LGBT like community. And I just saw a guy in Florida that was he was talking like before like a meeting, like a city council meeting or something like that, and he was a gay guy, but he was saying, I'm all for our rights, and I fought hard for our rights for the last 10, 20 years, but y'all are shitting on them when you're pushing this on children, and you're
yeah,
putting it in the classrooms and doing all this stuff. But it takes people of y'all's community standing up and doing that, though, because if I stand up and I say that, or like if other like straight people, or especially like cis white men or something like that,
yeah.
dude, they get destroyed. Like they'll get just roasted for even trying to say anything. But yeah, so props to you really for being honest about that and saying that, because I feel like there's not enough in the community that are willing to stand up against it. And I know that that's the second way that everything's going to change. Like, the second everything's going to be fixed in the schools and stuff is the second that the people of the LGBT community stand up and say, you know what? We're not doing this shit anymore. Like, we don't stand for any of this. And all the woke shit is totally going back right now. I know everybody's seeing it right now. Like, nobody's getting canceled for anything right now, like, at all. And it's because people are tired of it. Like, whenever it comes to stuff like that, and dating, do you look for somebody that's like similar to you politically, or have you talked to some women that are the complete opposite, like very wokies, I guess you could say, where they're just like fully um in it, like the Gen Z woke movement? Like, what's your favorite to kind of date, I guess you could say? Is there a difference like that in the community? Like, have you met some girls that are very extreme, and then some girls that are just, I'm a lesbian, yo, what's up?
Um, I would say I like femme girls. I like feminine women, intellectual women. Um, I don't really go for the extreme, like the whole I stand for this and stand for that. I mean, if you're a lesbian, I'm a lesbian, whatever. Like
Yeah,
that's it. So I don't know. I just go for older, older women who are a little bit more mature, know what they want, have stable jobs. I have tried dating younger and they just don't know
they're
what they want.
crazy or what?
They're crazy. They just want to party all the time. They don't know what they want. They're confused. They don't know if they like dick or if they
Oh, they're
want
still trying to
vagina.
figure it out.
Yeah,
So,
it's
like, isn't that another thing too? Like, I forgot what it's called. There's a word for this. Like the girls that, what is it called? Golden? Is it gold? What is it called whenever you're a lesbian? You've only messed with women. Like you
like a
don't.
pillow
There's
princess,
yeah,
golden
yeah there's
retriever, or
there,
golden
there's yeah, it's golden something. I can't think of the term.
golden something.
But yeah, but so what do you think about that? Like, is that a big deal? Is that actually a big deal to you? Like, do you only want to mess with girls that only like girls, or are you kind of okay if they had a little bit of a guy in their past, or is it kind of worrisome because then you kind of got to worry about them cheating on you not only with girls but
Mm-hmm.
also with the guys? Like,
Yep.
so like how would like what's your preference on that?
I no bisexual women, no women that are confused or don't know what they want. So definitely a woman who only dates women.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I don't do.
they're just gonna play games with you.
Yeah, I dated a femme girl. She was a little bit younger than I was, and she ended up cheating on me with her ex-boyfriend.
That's crazy.
So yeah,
Well, yeah, see, but it makes sense. Like, I would be
yeah.
scared of it too.
Hmm.
Have you seen that there's a statistic that says though that lesbian relationships have the most domestic violence? It's like
I could see that.
but
Yeah,
why though? Like why? Like how can you see that? Do you think it's because of the women that are more of the femme women or the more masculine? Like which ones are starting the fights in those relationships? Is it the feminine ones or the masculine? I think it's the feminine ones because they don't respect the masculinity of the masculine one because it's not real masculinity to them. Because real masculinity to them might be like a real man or something, you know?
yeah. Uh, the femmes, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, because they're acting out of their emotions too much, and
Yeah,
then you're probably if you're more the masculine one, you're more the stoic one, you know, like you're not gonna.
yeah. More
That
chill, collected.
but yeah, that's what it is. There's just like the really crazy feminine lesbians are the ones that are causing all the fights.
Yes.
So where do you even find women today? Like we always talk about on the show how hard it is just to find people.
Hmm.
If you're a woman looking for a woman, it has to be even harder. Is there certain apps that everybody's using right now, or is there like a place that you like to go to in the city that's like really popular?
Um, so I have tried the dating apps. I deleted all of my dating apps because too many women were wanting thirds, or they had a man on the side and they just wanted to try me out. Like I was an experiment.
Giggity.
I've had a lot of that. Yeah. I had this woman who was 30. This happened last month. She was 37. And I found out she was married, had a whole man. And yeah, it was just a crazy situation. It was like a friends with benefits type of thing. But
They're really trying to find people sometimes to bring back to their guys. Like I feel like a lot of guys are convincing their girls to go find other girls for them, and those are the
yeah,
girls hitting you up. And they're
yeah,
like, "Oh, she's
All
lesbian."
right.
Yeah, dude, for real. I feel like that's probably very normal actually on the internet
it's
today.
very
Well, because there's
normal.
so many people that are bi or trans or
Yeah.
gay or like there's just so many people in the community. It's 20% for Gen Z. Did you see that stat?
Mm-mm.
20% of Gen Z is LGBTQ or like
It's a
one of the
lot.
many.
Yeah.
Fucking insane. One in five.
Hmm.
And then if you look at it genetically, though, it only shows that it's supposed to be like a smaller number, like way smaller, because it does happen genetically. Like there is definitely a chance of somebody being like gay or trans or something just by genetic chance of a percentage, you know. But it's definitely not 20%, or else
Yeah.
it would. Like I heard somebody say the other day, societies would have fallen all across the world. Like society would have never grown. Like populations would have never grown if that was the true stat of what most people were. Like if it was 20%. That's just
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot of people doing it just for fun or
I
just
think,
for like
yeah.
clout or not clout, but like it's a
Everyone's
trend. Like
doing it.
everybody's doing it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everyone's turning
It's cool.
gay and lesbian because they're just tired of their men, tired of their man. So they're just like, let me see what it's like with a woman, see if it's better. Um,
Do you
yeah.
think that like a lot of stuff though, like do you think it's trauma based or do you think it's because people are um like that's really what they want? Like are they just going through trauma? Are they going through so much stuff that they're confused and they don't know what they want and stuff? Or do you think that they I don't know. Like this is like basically, is it Mother Nature or is like is it like the nature versus nurture argument? You know, like do you think it's in their DNA for these people to be thinking these things and having these things, or do you think it's our environment that's giving us trauma? That's we're seeing all this stuff and we think it's normal. Like Mother Nature or nature versus nurture. Like which one do you really think it is?
The
You think
environments.
it's the environment that's
Yeah.
doing it all? So
Yeah.
like if if it's just the and what's crazy is like all the people that I argue with online that are part of like the woke movement and stuff like that, they always say that it's the environment, the environment, the environment.
Yeah.
But it's like, so why are you sending these kids to drag shows that are crazy environments that are going to make them into
Yeah.
thinking these? And I would be so cool with the drag shows if they weren't like strip club wear. Like if they were like, and they
Yeah.
always say this is what's at the Super Bowl. Shit, not in a while. Like they've
Mhm.
been changing that shit up, and then even then the Super Bowls aren't even nearly as bad. Like some of the splits, like I saw a horrible video on Twitter the other day of like a kid that was like 10 or 11 years old that had the long braids and a full leather span like that suit like the sex dominatrix suit, and it was like a 10 or
Dang.
11 year old doing the splits and like throwing her hair around doing like the
Mhm.
whole dance, and it was like
Mhm.
this is normal today. And I just really can't believe it. I'm just really happy that there's people like you that are willing to stand up, like I said, and say, you know
Yeah.
what, this ain't right, guys. And if
Mm-mm.
but like so of the people in your community or like the girls that you talk to and stuff like that, do you have these type of conversations with them whenever y'all go to dinner or anything like that? Like, is this ever a topic, or do y'all kind of just avoid all that type of stuff? Is it more like, let's just not talk about the negativity of all this and just focus on us and just like what we're doing? Because like there's a lot of negativity right now in politics, in the world, in the US. Like there's a lot of angst against, like the left and the right because of all this
Yeah.
stuff. Like, is this even a topic whenever you get together with them, or is it something that y'all just try not to talk about?
It depends on who I'm talking to. If someone I'm talking to is a little bit older and they can conversate about those things and have an intellectual conversation, then yes. But for the younger girls, no, definitely not.
Not at all.
No, it's just more we just focus on ourselves and
that's what
pursue
I
a
noticed
relationship.
online. The ones that are speaking out and being like really big about like helping, and stopping all like the crazy stuff, it's the older ones. It's the ones that
Yeah.
have already been fighting for this shit for 10, 20 years. And
Mhm.
it's like, we're not going to let you fuck this up that we've
Yep.
been fighting so hard for. Once again, guys, if anybody wants to call in, y'all got any questions for her, you got any questions for me, please call in. Y'all are more than welcome to. Uh, Let me think. What else? Whenever it comes to dating here in Dallas, like, do you think that there's like a huge issue just here in Dallas? Do you think that other places aren't having as bad of a deal? Like sometimes whenever I have the girls on the show and shit, it's. I mean, I know it's the worst cheating place in the U.S. I know Dallas and Fort Worth are
Yeah.
too. So do you think it's that bad even in the LGBT community? Like, is it just as like fucked up as it is for the straight community?
Yeah, it is very hard to date in Dallas. I've never been, so I took 2 years off just to heal and figure myself out. But I've recently got back into the dating pool, and it is horrible. It's so hard to date here. I used to live in New Orleans, and that was probably one of the best states to live in for you know
You
the
never
the
think of that
community.
too. Yeah, you never think that.
Everyone over there is very carefree. Everyone over there is like gay.
Yeah, just cool.
Yeah, just cool
Yeah.
people.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like Dallas is like that too. I guess in the inner city, but it really just depends like where you go.
Yeah,
I guess.
I guess so. I haven't seen
Everybody's
it.
just hoes here, is what it sounds like. Everybody just like really
Yeah,
be sleeping around like
everyone
crazy.
just wants to have situationships or friends with benefits.
How many guys do you think are closeted? Like they sit there and they act so straight, or like they do all this like straight stuff, but really they be like on Grinder like in the background.
You'd be surprised that sometimes it's the most manly men
And
that
do you
we
ever like hear or see stuff like that, like in your friend groups or anything? Do you have a good solid
no.
friend group here in Dallas or anything that you hang out with?
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
it all LGBT or is it all just normal?
No, it's all straight
It's
people.
all straight people.
Yeah.
Is it
All
from like
straight
your
people.
work or something?
It's just from getting out and getting to know
Yeah.
people.
What's
Yeah.
the so what's the best spots that you go to when it comes to looking for girls though? Like when you actually want to like try to go, like, is there even a spot where you can go out to try to like?
Yeah, they have this I forgot what it's called. Sue Ellen's, but I forgot what strip is on. But it's like a strip where it's like just all gay bars
Yeah.
for
Oh yeah,
men
it's
and
a it's a
women.
it's a,
I forgot the name of
Cedar
it.
Springs. Yeah.
No,
Has
it's another one. It's
oh
I forgot the name, but it's in downtown somewhere. But yeah, Sue Ellen's, you go out there, it's like all gay people. So that's probably one of the best, places to go.
and so is the hookup community the same as like in the straight community where like everybody like it'll just be like a one night stand, like, yeah, all right, peace, like we just did this and done.
Yeah, very much so. But women are a little bit more emotional, so sometimes like they won't want a relationship, but they'll still want to do everything like you're in a relationship.
So who chases who whenever you're like talking to girls? Like, do they usually chase you or are you chasing them?
No, usually they chase me, but I am a little bit more dominant, so um, sometimes I'll chase them. So I've been with one stud and one femme. Um, yeah, I don't like the
You
studs.
don't like the studs at all?
No, no.
I got to peel the layer back a little bit of details on this one thing. Like, is it always with toys? like if it's girl with girl, like, or can it sometimes be just with no toys at all, or does it
No
always have to be?
toys. No, yeah, no toys. You could use a strap on. But yeah, no toys.
Really?
Yeah.
And so like, but so if a girl uses straps on, is it almost the same like as just having a guy at that point, or no?
I
It's
get
still
that
completely.
question all the time.
Is it not even? Is it,
No, trust me. No, absolutely not.
It's not even close.
No, absolutely not. Of course, the feeling may be a little bit different, but nowadays they got dildos and dicks that feel very similar.
Yeah.
So it's very different. I feel like the sex with women is 20 times better. It lasts longer because both women are wanting to please each other. It's not just one person,
Mm-hmm.
getting their nut and that's it.
I got something very interesting to ask because something that I've noticed is like orgasms are just so different across the board when it comes to women. Sometimes based off G spots and clits and just all types. There's so many things that based off size. There's just so much.
Yeah.
So is it the same for you? Like, do you find that there's some women that are just completely different from others when it comes to sex? Like how you're able to please them and stuff like that. Have you ever met some girls that's super hard for you to please and it's just like, this isn't gonna work because we can't even orgasm together, kind of? And like in a lesbian, I read a statistic that in lesbian relationships, both women have more orgasms. Do you think that's true?
Yes.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it is definitely
Absolutely.
true.
Yeah. No, I've never struggled to please anyone. Honestly, I
Because you're
feel
a
like,
woman, so you
yeah,
understand women
I feel like
perfectly.
men try to complicate it. It's not hard at all to please a woman. It's really not. But y'all men are just complicated and don't know what y'all be doing sometimes.
No, so like
So
so give the men some tips a little bit. Do you think it's like the warm up, like they're not warming the women up enough? Because I know it's like very emotional, so you got to do everything right. You
yeah,
got to make the mood right. You got to do everything right. But then
yeah.
also, do you think that it's like the warm up, like foreplay, oral, and stuff? Do you think they're not doing enough of that?
Yeah, I feel like nowadays people are just getting right to it.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
not
that's how
wanting
guys are.
to.
Yeah, we get boner, we stick it in, boop, done. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like women we're emotional. We want a connection first. We want it to be a little bit more sensual. So, just yeah, foreplay. Um, I heard that a lot of men don't be like eating their
Yeah,
women
yeah, yeah,
out.
yeah. It's super normal. Yeah,
I don't. I
most.
was like, what? That's crazy. I
Yeah,
was
most
like,
guys don't. I
I didn't.
definitely
Yeah,
don't think a guy should do it if he doesn't like it because like it's
really.
like telling a girl to suck dick that doesn't like to suck dick. It's like don't make somebody
Okay,
do something they
true.
don't like doing. But yeah,
True.
if you enjoy doing it, you should definitely get good at it. Like
Yeah,
why not? Because then you're gonna be able to please your partner better. But
exactly.
yeah, I don't believe in like forcing guys to do anything because it's just like I wouldn't want to force a girl to suck my dick who sucks at it or she doesn't like doing it. It's just like you're
True.
not gonna like it, I'm not gonna like it. Like there's no point, and especially like when it comes to the eating out thing, like how many girls just don't even want a guy to do it whenever he doesn't like it or he's not good at it and stuff.
Yeah,
Especially
especially
if
if
they're
they were.
yeah, if he's not good at it, you don't even want him to be down there
I
anymore.
mean, yeah, but at the same time, if it's pleasing to me, you should want to learn. You
Hmm.
should. I mean, if I don't like sucking dick, then I'm a try to learn how
That's
to
what a
suck
good
some dick.
relationship is. You think is like where y'all are gonna try to like push back on the things that you're uncomfortable with or you don't like and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you ever be with a guy and peg him? Have you done it before?
No, I haven't, but I think I would.
You think you
Yeah, I
would?
think I would.
You think
Nigga, you gay.
would you guess that'd be fun to you? You think?
I think so, just because I'd be more in the masculine role, and I don't know.
Dot is like I cannot no. Well, I mean, uh, do you think that there's a lot of guys that are actually very closeted right now? Like do you hear from like any of your friends or anything that there's a lot of guys that are actually very like closet gays?
Not necessarily. No, I haven't really been on that
Yeah,
side.
no,
No, so I don't know.
you only stay with your women's.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of gay guy friends, so I wouldn't really know.
What are you friends with any girls that you've talked to in the past? Like, do you have like a circle of friends, or like what happens after a hookup happens or anything like that? Do y'all just never talk to each other again? Is it like,
Oh
or
man.
just sometimes the connection stays there?
So I've had a lot of these situationships, and they never work out. I've actually I'd say two of my best friends. Well, they were my best friends. We hooked up the first night. We stayed friends. We got really close, but one always caught feelings, or it just
Yeah.
became a mess, or someone got jealous, and I no longer am friends with them. But
What?
it is a situation of basically a situationship.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
and it happens like everybody else's. Do you
yeah.
think? So we always talk about how ladies like can get alpha widowed, like how they can like sleep with certain guys that are just so badass or masculine or whatever it is that
Mhm.
they like they're like stuck to that guy and they can't move on. Have you ever felt like a girl like gave you such a good orgasm or anything that like you were kind of alpha widowed by her? Like it was hard to like not want to hit her up, like you know?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolute.
Yes, yes,
That's
yes.
but no guy ever did that to you though.
No,
No,
absolutely not. No.
absolutely not.
Once I see the thing with me and men, I can detach my emotions very quickly and easily. Like if we say what it is,
Mhm.
um, I'm gonna be in and out.
I
Don't
and
text me, don't call me. That was just a one-time thing,
Yeah, and
and that's it.
I think it's very common. I think women are way better at detaching emotions. You know,
Hmm.
like unless like it's your first or second or third guy you've been with, because it's kind
Yeah.
of like harder because you haven't experienced enough. You know, but
Hmm.
yeah, once you've experienced enough, I think it's super easy for y'all to detach. Like
Hmm.
so much easier for y'all than for the guy. Um, so have you ever alpha widowed a girl though? Like have you ever had girls that are kind of acting obsessive with you? I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've had some, not a whole lot, but yeah, some.
So it does still happen. Like there's
Hmm.
definitely a chance that that's still going to happen.
Yeah.
Do like what I'm learning just from kind of talking to you, it kind of seems like a lot of the women that end up choosing to become lesbians, y'all really focus on y'all's orgasms and you just want to like have good sex. Like you're not going to settle for being with a guy that's not going to please you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
I
Or
mean,
like especially if it because a lot of guys are lazy. They're not going to do the foreplay. They're not going to do all the stuff to make sure that a woman can have an
yeah.
orgasm. Like, so would you say like there's a lot of women that are lesbians, and that's kind of partially why it's like I'm never fucking with guys because they can't fucking please me.
Some of it's like that, and some of it is just.
That's what they prefer. Like they're just used to women.
Yeah, I mean, women are more nurturing, loving, caring. That's why I love women. A man, like when I was in my 4 year long relationship with the man, I had to do everything.
Yeah.
He was older than me. I was mentally more mature, and it was just crazy. It was like having a child,
Hmm.
and just emotionally, and the sex, it just was all just not what I wanted.
You're saying you really like that nurturing from a
Yeah.
woman and stuff like that really feminine energy. I'm guessing.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you think so? There's something that happens to kids. It's called child detachment syndrome, and it's where
Mhm.
like and since you were adopted and like I don't know how much your mom was in your life for the first 1 or 2
Mhm.
years. Do you think that maybe you might have a slight childhood detachment syndrome that makes it to where you really yearn for that feminine energy, and
Yes.
maybe that's where that kind of comes from a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I am a very emotional person. And yeah, I have like abandonment issues. I have, just trauma from my childhood. So I tend to catch feelings very quickly for a woman just because they're giving me something that I've always wanted and never really had growing up. So once get that, then sometimes, yeah, I just
Yeah, I
catch
perfectly
feelings.
relate with you. I have BPD and I know all about
Hmm.
personality disorders because I had to go through all of it and
Yeah.
stuff. And like, it's really crazy. I would think that I research personality disorders literally all day. It's something that I'm very obsessed with, and
Hmm.
I think a lot of Americans have personality disorders. A lot of
Yeah.
us have it, and the number one sign of somebody with personality disorders, you have self awareness of it. You don't even know that like you have these issues, and like and
Yeah.
so the people who can't notice it, those are the ones that truly have like really bad personality disorders. But if you can notice it, you can actually start working on it,
Yeah.
and beat back your trauma. But I think tons of people have that abandonment issue because think about it. I mean, for your case, it was because of very specifically because of the adoption and like
Uh-huh.
you had to come all the way here, like
Hmm.
completely new parents and stuff. But for a lot of other kids, the reason why they're having abandonment issues is because there's two parent households in America, and
Yeah.
those two parents have to both work for them to be able to pay their bills right now because the dollar's been devalued so bad. So when they do that, their kid gets home from school and they don't want to spend time with them because their parents are tired. They're both been working all day, so the
Hmm.
kid gets thrown the iPad. And they're raised by the iPad, or they're raised by Discord or by the video games they're playing, and whoever's are playing their games with them.
Hmm.
So like that's why a lot of kids right now are going to end up, especially in that Gen Z, they're going to end up in the same type of abandonment emotion where like we cling to people like that, because
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. I have the same thing. It's
Yeah.
and it all comes from neglect. Everything comes from neglect. I
Hmm.
want to say all of our issues come from neglect. And but there's people that neglect, it ruins their life and it makes it worse. And there's some people who that neglect, it empowers them and makes them stronger. And it
Yeah.
all goes back to if you notice it.
Yeah.
If you notice it and you come to terms with it and you take accountability for it, you're going to always win at life because you know exactly what's holding you back and how you're going to beat it every time you do.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
but we people like us need to go and find those people who don't know how to, don't even, they lack the self-awareness of it, you know,
Mhm.
and make them see that like, yo, this is why you're like living such a traumatic life still.
Yeah.
Like I think everybody's living their traumas out right now, like their generational traumas, and it's really sad.
Absolutely.
If everybody could just, if we could stop the generational trauma, we'd be fine. But we can't fix a nuclear family. There's
Yeah.
nothing that we can do about that.
Yeah, trauma, it just runs relationships. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like if you get into a relationship and you do have trauma, and I feel like you definitely need to sit down and talk to your partner about what you've been through, open up, be vulnerable with that person. Because that's what I have to do. If I'm trying to take a woman seriously, I'm going to let her know, look, I'm an emotional person. I used to not be. Like, I used to be very just,
Standoffish, like I
yeah,
don't need
like I
nobody type.
was more angry. I was just more like, I didn't really have feelings, a little bit toxic
Hmm.
back when I was 23. So now I'm in my soft side era. So being vulnerable with people, opening up more. But I've noticed, yeah, I'm an emotional person. Like I'm sensitive.
Yeah.
And I never knew that about myself. So I always have to tell my partners like, hey, look, I come from a lot of trauma. Like I
Mm.
really do. I've been through a lot of things in life. Even if it doesn't look like I have, I have.
Yeah.
I've experienced a lot. So I just always have to open up. And I feel like people nowadays they don't open up. They don't tell each other
I completely agree
what's
with you.
going on, and they fight and bicker, and it's
I
just
mean, I definitely read about some couples on Reddit that are fucking amazing couples that talk about their like mental health in their past. Something that
yeah.
I preach all the time is that because nobody's fucking perfect today, we all have to find matching baggage. Like you need to find somebody with matching baggage to you. You know,
Yeah.
like you're not gonna find if you're not perfect, you need to find somebody who's not perfect. Also, somebody that
Yeah.
matches you.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to just put your guard down and then be honest with that person
Yeah.
once you find them. But I read about it on Reddit all the time. There's always these couples that are people are talking like, oh yeah, we were fully honest with each other. We talked about all this stuff. It's like I've never seen this in one relationship in my life where like two people can actually come together and really discuss like their issues and like it
Mhm.
actually like I don't know, like when an argument starts, kind of like call out each other's when they're spiraling or call out the other
Yeah.
one when they're like stonewalling or doing some type of emotional manipulation. Like
Yep.
you can't talk. And so we always say this on the show, but obviously this isn't always true. You might be the exception, but I always like to say that like women can't take accountability for shit. Like it's really hard. So the girls that
Yes.
you mess with and stuff, do you feel like you're the one always taking, because you're kind of in that masculine energy? You're always taking accountability and be like, oh, I should have done this and I'm sorry. Like, are you always the one saying sorry and taking accountability, and the girls are like not doing it at all, and you're fighting for them to kind of care and stuff?
Yes, I'm always the one to care, maybe too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm always like, oh, I'm sorry if I didn't do this or I didn't do that or, um, yeah,
It's
definitely
it,
for sure.
it's so crazy, man. It really just comes back to like the masculine. You have a lot of masculine energy, and it makes it to
Yeah,
where you can like you're basically like a dude when it comes to being stoic and just not giving a fuck about a lot of shit.
yeah,
But at the same time, you're very emotional if like you're attached to somebody.
yeah. I am my feminine energy will come out when I
When you're attached, I'm
attach to
guessing.
somebody.
And
Yeah.
how many times would you say you've been like attached, like relationship that like you were really serious and like it fucking broke you when it was over, like bad,
Whew, three.
and they were all
Three
women?
true. One was my ex fiance. He's my ex fiance. I'll always have love for him. I actually got pregnant with him, but we were young and he was just a whole situation. But yeah, that one was definitely one of the biggest heartbreaks ever. And then my this other girl, yeah, she was feminine, and then this girl that was a stud. But I was very toxic with her. Like that was a bad relationship, but it was my fault.
Would
Yeah.
you had stayed straight if that guy would have been really good or would have worked out? Like that guy that you got married to, like could that have ever worked out? And like
I
you,
don't.
or do you think 10 years into the marriage you would have been like, I need a woman, like I can't do this,
Yeah.
like.
Towards the end of the relationship, it was starting to get like that, and I'm not gonna just sit there and try to keep something going when I know it's not gonna work out.
And like, would you say that there was like a point where you really didn't care about him at all, or like was it one of those things where like you loved him and you would like to have women too, and if he was cool with it, y'all could have three ways and stuff with another girl. Like, was it something like that,
No,
or
not at all.
like you
No.
wanted to have a whole nother love, like a whole nother woman that you could
Yeah,
love?
yeah. He when we first met, he told me he thought like that I was gay because I just had that energy. But I think for me, the reason why I kind of was drawn to him and attracted is because he was pretty feminine, to be honest. Now that I look back on it, he was not a manly man.
Yeah.
He was very feminine
And that's why you were
I think
attracted
that's
to
why I
it.
was attracted. But we ended up becoming more best friends than actual lovers. Like he was like my best friend.
Yeah.
But towards the end, yeah, we just I couldn't. I just the sex part was pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, like I just didn't want to have sex with him at all, and it caused a drift in the relationship. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sex is everything for a woman, and it's all emotional based. So it's just like relationship. All those divorces that we see, that are 70% to 90% if they're college educated, and it's a women issue. It's all because of sex usually. Like
yeah,
their guy isn't pleasing, or there's a guy out there that could definitely do it better.
yeah,
And hypergamy is crazy today. Like I don't know, it's just so easy. The options are out there so much. I don't blame women sometimes. It's like why would you want to stay with the fat guy or whatever? It's
yeah.
really hard. I feel bad for the dudes though, because some of them are hardworking men and they're doing the right thing, and the woman's just bored at home, and that's why she's doing it. Would you ever do a situation, say like you were making millions of dollars or something like that, like you're just killing it? Would you like to be like a breadwinner and like your woman stay at home and like be a stay at home woman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would do you plan on having kids, even though like you're like do you plan on having kids yourself? Like, do you want to do in vitro or something so you can have your own kids with your own DNA, or do you plan on like letting the girl you're with have kids if you ever want to? Like, what's your plan for that?
Um, I think I would want to carry and have her carry as well. Of course, not at the same time, but
Oh yeah.
yeah,
how
definitely.
how funny though would it be for the pictures and shit though?
Oh Lord, that would no. All the hormones, absolutely not. But I want 4 kids. I want a big family, and the reason why is because I didn't come from a big family, so I want like 4 to 5 kids.
You still want to make it work no matter what.
Yeah.
Um, what? So, do you think that if you ever got to that point where y'all were going to have that many kids, do you think that you're going to like never like how do you choose the guy that like you're gonna want to have like the sperm from, I guess you could say? Like how, like, would you go and pick the guy, or would you just go to a sperm bank? Is there something specific when it comes to DNA, like, since
Mm,
because like if in all my studies and everything that I do,
mhm.
women really care about the DNA that they get for their children. Whether like there's something
Yeah.
called alpha fucks beta bucks, which is where like
Mhm.
a woman will have like a beta guy that she's like that provides for her, and he's like that really good provider guy, but he just got the bad genetic, like he's ugly or something. So she'll go and fuck the alpha, like
Yeah.
that. It's called dual mating strategy. She'll go and fuck this alpha guy
Huh.
and get his genetics,
Mhm.
and then the other guy will never know. We read about this stuff on Reddit every day. Like there's always somebody coming out saying, "Oh, my kids are all 19 years old, and they bought me a DNA test, and I found out they're not my kids," or they bought like the genealogy, like
Yeah.
the ancestry thing, and they're like, "Oh, my kid's not mine, and my wife never told me for 18 years." It's a big deal as a guy. That's our biggest fear, literally
Yeah.
the biggest fear ever, because you put in parental investment into that, and
Yeah.
it's not even your genetics.
Yeah.
Your line isn't even going on. So like, but I know it's a big deal when y'all choose genetics. So would you want to just choose a random guy? Another thing, there's a guy that was fucking, I saw on the internet today,
Mhm.
that had over 500 kids because he was going to multiple sperm donating places
Mhm.
and doing his sperm donation, and he did, like, they're trying to all sue him because he did it so many times that there's a chance that somebody could end up fucking somebody else of his
Oh, I
own kid.
did read that.
So they're trying to sue him for it, but it's like, that was genius to be able to get his seed out that bad. But would you choose what, a sperm bank, when you could end up with a guy like that? Or who would you choose? Like, how would you choose a guy?
I would definitely, yeah, I would definitely do like a sperm donor. I would definitely want to have a good looking man. Um,
I would, if I was a woman, I would like do like a crazy ass interviewing process and find like the perfect guy. I feel
yeah,
like IQ, looks,
yeah, I
like
have a lot. I
everything.
got a big list because I already have a big list with men, anyways. So yeah, I would need that man to be pretty.
How many? Like do you, if we look to like the year 2040, how many like families do you see as being like like gay families, like two guys, two women, and then like the regular nuclear families? Like, how much do you see it split? If right now with Gen Z, there's 20% of Gen Z that is LGBT, do you think that it's going to be 20% of families are going to be like that in the future, or do you think more or less? Like, how
Mm,
do you see the trends going kind of right now?
I think maybe less in a way because I feel like right now everyone's going through like I don't know what I want. I don't know if I want a man or woman. And then you have like what poly relationships now.
Oh yeah, true, yeah. Do
So
you think a lot of that 20% is going to go down in the next few
I
years?
think so
It was the
because
trends.
yeah, just trends. I mean, the environment has made it so normal. But like I heard this one girl say, um, "I'm tired of my man. I'm gonna get me a girlfriend. I want a girlfriend." Um, and I'm just, but then again, I was like, "Would you ever marry a woman? Like, what's the point?"
So you just
She's
want to be
like,
hedonistic and use a woman.
"Right, exactly." And she's like, "I don't know. Like, no, I would never marry a woman. I would never date
She
a
just wants to have
woman."
fun with
But
you.
yeah, so I feel like people are gonna revert back
People are just
to
using
men.
people right now for fun, and it's all
Absolutely.
gonna stop hopefully soon.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Hopefully.
Hopefully, and so do you think that this whole like what's going on with everything, the world, the movement, the woke and stuff, the left? Do you think that actually made it harder for you to date the last couple of years? Like would you say it's harder because of them? And if they would just kind of calm the fuck down, it'd probably be
Yeah,
easier.
all this poly relationship stuff, all this. We
I
want a
feel like a lot of the
third.
people messaging you are yeah, it's a lot of the
It's a
poly shit.
lot. It is. I get so many messages with that stuff, and I'm like, what is the point? I don't
I
understand.
think it's because there's a lot of guys that are like kind of alphas, I guess you could say, or they get
Yeah.
sex easily, like they're really attractive,
Hmm.
and those women are gonna do anything to lock him in. And if that
Yeah.
means that he gets to have sex with other girls, or if that means that he gets to have
Hmm.
threesomes, or whatever it is, they're gonna do whatever it takes to keep him, you know.
Yeah.
And but we're gonna see this shit so much over the next decade. Like think about Islam and Muslim households. Like that's very normal having three wives and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
it's got I'm predicting it that there's going to be a shit ton of relationships like that over the
Hmm.
next 10, 20 years
No,
because
absolutely. It's definitely becoming more of a normal thing over here
especially as
in
the
America.
money as the wealth goes up to the top to only like the top guys, you know, it's like why
Hmm.
would you settle for the normal
Just one.
life?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one guy with the normal life whenever
Hmm.
you can go to the guy, like you don't have to settle, you'll have the 6'4", you'll have the whatever, you know,
Hmm.
but you're just going to share them, you know. I
Yeah.
don't know, like
I mean,
as somebody like you, do you like you would never want to date guys, but could you share a guy if like he was fucking amazing? Like if you could imagine your life right now in 5 years and you didn't have to work, you could have that family you wanted, everything. Like, would you share a guy for that?
um, hmm,
It'd have to be the perfect
no.
life in Dubai.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be like very perfect. Because then at that point I'm just using him, and I don't like to do that, you
But
know.
so like what if he's I always think that things are just very equal. What if he's kind of using you? Like you're the baby maker for him. Like you gotta understand,
True. And I
like
would get all the women for him,
yes,
draw them
exactly.
in.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, if
Like
we,
you would have all the women you want.
yeah,
He would have what he wanted, his kids and his legacy going on.
true.
You know, I don't see why that's not a win-win for you.
Hey,
You know,
I don't know if anybody out there who is
well,
like that. I'm just playing.
you might be surprised because they want a guy there. They want a girl that's going to bring girls. So that's what I'm saying. You might actually
Yeah.
be considered kind of a prize to some guys. You know, you never
Yeah, I
know.
have some homeboys who, oh my gosh,
They bug you.
they bug me all the time. They're like, come out with me." I'm like, "No, I am not about to go get a girl for you. You are a man. You can do that. And if you can't, I'm sorry. That's not my problem."
How long do you like to make girls wait? After the first date, or will you, or have you, or do you mind hooking up if this girl's older and she's mature, like you were saying,
Hmm.
and like y'all have all these good conversations on the
Hmm.
first day and stuff? Would you be like, shit, I'm down right now, let's go, you know? Or do you like to make her wait a week or two, a month?
So, um, since moving to Dallas, it's been more of okay. If we're down now, let's do it. But when I was actually in a relationship before I moved to Dallas, I would make women wait at least 2 to 3 weeks. I think I my last relationship it was like 3 weeks because I really wanted to see like, do you really want to to know me for me,
Is this just
or
for
is it just
sex?
for sex? So she waited out, and I was the one who initiated because I was like, okay, you know what? I think it's she wants to be a serious relationship. So, but yeah, but nowadays, no, it's the first day, the first night.
Yeah, that's how everybody does it though, like
Yeah,
straight, or it doesn't matter what you are.
yeah.
Have you thought about going to church at all again? Have you thought about like trying to return back to Christianity,
No.
or is it just like fuck this shit, it's fucking so
No,
bad?
I'm more of a spiritual person, not really religious. Um, my parents
They
are Christian, and
probably kind of scared you away from all of it
the
pretty
way
bad.
that I saw how she acts, and I'm just like, you know what, No.
Anybody who's gonna have kids that's gonna have Christian kids, this is what we talk about all the time. Don't sit there and force it on them like crazy. The
Yeah.
only reason why I'm a really strong Christian is because I chose from like 12 to 15 to become very heavily involved on my own. Like my parents actually weren't Christian at all. They were Christian, but they didn't go to church. Like they were the typical American Christians that call themselves Christian, but they don't go to church.
Yeah.
So like yeah, when I went, it was like fully voluntarily, and that's the only way you can ever fucking find a religion is like you seek. It's just like you can take a horse to water, but you can lead a horse to water, but you
Yeah.
can't make them drink.
Exactly.
And that's the dumbest thing ever to try to force it onto you because it's just gonna push you away more than anything. Yeah, we'll go ahead and close it up. We're at like an hour right now. No, thank y'all everybody that came just for just show up tonight, guys. I really appreciate y'all. Friday we're gonna have a fucking crazy show though. I'm not gonna sit there and ruin it, but we got some crazy shit coming on Friday, guys. I hope y'all would be excited for it. But thank you so much for coming, honestly, and having this, being open minded and
Yeah.
like being able to talk about these things because, like, honestly, people like me, we're scared to even ask some of these questions sometimes. Like, there's a lot of people who are straight that are just even scared to ask these things, have a heart to heart with somebody that's on the other side of the aisle. And this needs to happen more often. Guys,
Yeah.
like these type of talks, this is how shit gets solved. This is how shit gets fixed. It doesn't ever get fixed whenever y'all sit across from each other and you just disagree, or you never come together on anything, or you never try to understand the other person. Understanding is everything in this world. If you can't understand other people, then you're always going to be mad. You're always going to just be angst over everything. It's not worth it. It's way better to understand how people are, and then that's how you can move forward and actually come up with solutions to shit. In the red pill space, we always like to talk about solutions things. We'll never make fucking solutions sitting around in just echo chambers thinking and doing the same fucking shit. But now that I had this conversation with her, now I can go and have this conversation with other people, and we can actually work on legislation, or we can actually work on things to make things better in the world instead of worse all the time. But yeah, I really, really appreciate you for coming. Like it's a big deal for us to have these type of conversations. I want you to come back again for sure. I want you to maybe even bring some friends back if you can next time. But yeah, I would love to talk to you more about this stuff. Thank you so much. Go ahead and plug in like your Instagram really quick though, if anybody wants to find you.
Yes, my Instagram is Michelle_Smith16.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And we will probably see y'all guys on Friday, guys. And yeah, thank you, Donnie. I appreciate you, man. But yeah, peace out, guys. Good night.